Hey, the soap we're going to use today is from Wild West Shaving, called Van Helsing. Patchouli, leather, black currant, wood, smoke. Those are the main notes, I believe. You can look in my description of the video for a cut and paste of what their profile is if you don't know about it. We're going to be using the 1305 from Semogue today. It's been soaking for a couple hours. So the soap is a little bit different than a lot of the other soaps out because it's in the smaller tubs. Wild West Shaving, and they do 2-ounce tubs. In a sense, it's nice because if you have a larger collection, then you are it'll take you a long time to rotate through your supply. And if it's all in half size, then it'll take you half as long, and then you can freshen it up. And in fact, these are kind of half price based on the larger pieces. And so I've had one good shave with the with Wild West, and so I'm really happy to try them again. Now this one I don't know what black currant smells like, but it almost seems like I smell a fatty base. It seems like maybe the base of the soap is coming through a lot more than some of the other notes. Wood, not really. Smoke, I mean, maybe, but probably not really. Maybe a little bit of leather. And so not a lot is coming through based on their description. So let's see what happens when it gets wet. Had a viewer say that he had such a hard time with getting more than just 2 uses out of a blade. And so he made a request to have me use a slim and a Perma-Sharp. Now this is a Perma-Sharp stainless. He requested the Gillette Perma-Sharp that was green and made in India. I don't know if this is that one or not, but it's as close as I can come. Now also, it's very important to know that if it gives me a great shave, that really doesn't have too much bearing on whether it should give him a great shave. Faces, skin, bristles, whiskers, they're just different on people. And he, in fact, likes to use his slim on a setting of 8. That's too aggressive, generally, for me. I like it smoother. I stick around 3 to keep it comfy while also cutting pretty well. He also may be able to go against the grain. I can't do that. So there's some differences, but just for fun, I figure I'd duplicate. I don't know if it's going to be any help at all, but let's just have fun and do it anyway. This one's been used twice before, I believe. And I'm going to show it to you. That way, if he's watching, then he can see if it has the same blade imprint, the blade artwork, as what he is using. I probably got it in a sampler, and so that's why I don't have the actual tuck or box, tiny box that it came in. And I use 3 pieces a lot, and so sometimes it's refreshing to have a twist to open, TTO, because it's just so simple to load the blade. Now, I've heard from authoritative sources that with these vintage Gillette adjustables, it's no problem to make the adjustment while you have it tightened down. But something about me doesn't want to do that. So I just loosen it up. Since he likes to shave his on something aggressive, I'm going to start at 7. We'll see how it works for me. I rarely go to 8. I can go to 8 when it's a very old blade and it's smoothed out a lot. All right, so we're loaded. Rarely use my slim. I like my fat boy so much, I usually gravitate toward that one. But I hear the slim is a little bit better A lot of people like it better in terms of the geometry and stuff, but I think they're close enough to where I just enjoy my girthy fat boy. All right, so what we're going to do is take my 1/4 teaspoon measure, and because this puck is a little bit difficult to load out of unless you just want to make a mess and take a while. And as I recall, this is kind of a softer, yes, this is kind of a softer soap. I'm going to take a 1/4 teaspoon of it, and I made a note last time I used their base that a 1/4 teaspoon gave me 4 passes of lather, which was perfect, was just what I needed. Yeah, it kind of smells like the base, almost like a duck fat base or something like that. This is very soft, it's kind of crumbly. So I'm going to take a second to press this into the bottom. You don't want the chunks to come loose from the bottom. You want them to be pressed in. If it's a really soft cream, it doesn't matter too much because it's going to be integrated as you mix. But I've discovered that when it's like this, a little on the dry, crumbly side, those little chunks can move around and not really be integrated very well during the lather building process. And we want all this to do that. So I'm going to pause you while I make sure this is good. Okay, we got that done, although it was a little bit on the tedious side. Shouldn't come loose and should integrate pretty well. I think in the future, if I were to have this kind of soap and such a small container, I might hoke it all out with a spoon and put it in a larger container. Use it from there, and that way I could brush load it instead of this kind of scooping, which is just takes a little too long. All right, I'm going to throw a little water on my face. Razor's ready, as usual. I'm going to shake most of the water out of my brush, and this was soaking in my tap water, which is fairly hard. So, details on the lather bowl, links to the computer files if you want to 3D print it, are in the description of the video. If you have access to a 3D printer. Oh yeah, something else has come out. I wish I knew what Black Currant was, because that might be what it is. It's almost kind of fruity floral. Hard to say. It's definitely not leather, smoke, or wood. But the lather's looking good at first. This Boar brush has premium bristles from Semogue, just like the 830. The 830 has a little bit shorter loft, so it might be a good option if you want one that's a little bit more scrubby, not quite as much backbone. Also, it has an acrylic handle. And put a 1 teaspoon in the lather here. The 830 has the acrylic handle. It has the dyed band that this one does. The acrylic handle I found, number one, to be not great for me because I am a bold latherer, and so my fingers were just soapy all the time. And that soapiness made the acrylic handle quite difficult to hold on to while I was shaving. It was very comfortable before it got wet and soapy, but once it gets that way, it's difficult. It's a chore. You have to employ some kind of death grip to keep control of it. And I believe I saw that 3 teaspoons was the amount of soap that I added last time, so I was not too hesitant to go ahead and add a full teaspoon now. Got 2 in there. I think I may use another Semogue tomorrow. Sometimes I try to stagger the Semogues with the Zenith, the Sterling, and the Omega. But I'm interested in kind of getting the idea, the contrast of a couple of these Semogues. I think maybe the 1800 is relaxing a little bit more than I might prefer, and so I want to contrast it against this guy. So this is a good lather that's coming up. Looks nice. It's how you might expect lather to be. Let's do a little finger test before I keep adding water. Don't want to overdo it. Nice slickness, kind of a watery slickness, not a buttery, fatty slickness. Feels like it is going to do well. Don't think I want to push this too much farther, so let's just kind of mix for a little bit. Just to make sure we are integrated and all that stuff. Kind of look through the bottom to see if all the pieces of soap have been worked into the lather. Lather is nice looking, looks creamy. Looks like there's plenty of it. Slight shine to it. Let's just show it off here. Do kind of a little drop test. Yeah, see how it stretches? It still maintains his shape once the dollop hits the bowl there. He's not really changing too much. Some soaps like to be hydrated a little farther, a little more than that. But the way this guy feels in my fingers, I'm going to stop. I don't want to make it too thin and kind of uncreamy. Now let's do kind of more of a pull. And oh, now see, that's nice. Did you see that? That looks good. Nice long peaks. Good. Let's try that. All right. A little bit of water on my face. Some people use pre-shave oils and pre-shave soaps and lotions and butters and things like that. I just splash my face with water and it happens to work for me. I'm not saying that's the only thing you should do. I'm just saying it works for me. Yeah, so that base smell, that's still kind of dominant, but it's matured a little bit. And so maybe that's actually whatever smell I can't identify. The black currant or whatever. Just kind of looking at the thickness here. I think it's all right. Do a little bit more scrubbing. Yeah, I don't think this particular brush, the 1305, I don't think it's too soft. With a backbone that's too relaxed. Some people might call floppy if it's too relaxed. But this is doing a good job. I like where he is. I am going to add just a little bit of water. Excuse me. Can't decide whether I like the smell or not. It's just different. But none of the things, or none of the scent notes really are coming out to me. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad I'm adding a little bit of water here. Just needed more. You can see how the amount of lather on my face has increased. Because we're combining there was some soap that just needed some water. Brush feels great. It's a good little guy. And he still has plenty of tips that haven't split, so he's going to get even better. So what's that scent that I'm getting? It's present, it's available, so if it's something you like, that's good. If you want to enjoy that during the shave. It's so funny, I just don't smell all those things that were mentioned. Maybe a little bit of leather, but almost a fresh, light leather. Nothing dark, dank, nothing thick, rich is kind of the impression I'm getting. All right, so setting number 7 on the slim, kind of on the high end for me, so I'm going to be careful. Yeah, that's doing well. Nice. Feels very good. Doesn't feel too aggressive. Now my neck is a little tricky sometimes, so try to go a little more carefully. Pay very good, cognizant attention to my direction here. Wow, that's very nice. All right, let's rinse it off. Maybe this is not a tallow soap, and as such it doesn't have that buttery slickness, and it didn't take very much to rinse it off at all. Pretty quick rinsing soap, but a nice slick feel as I did. The brush splays very easily. Very comfortable. Not too scrubby. If that's what you want. This is probably going to be too soft for you. But I like soft. And let's just keep with the 7. Yeah. Maybe next time I'll start with an 8. But we'll keep it with the 7 because we've already knocked down a whole lot of whiskers. Is the camera picking up on my stomach growling right there? I currently favor a more mild shave, really going for the comfort. So that's why with these adjustables I stick to something lower. But it's nice to know that I could, maybe my technique has just grown where the 7 and higher settings are just a little bit easier for me to shave safely now without stirring up irritation. Or maybe I found just a good blade for it. Maybe a little bit of both. Second pass down and rinse. So the scent doesn't really do it for me. It almost smells like silly putty or something like that, and that's what I'm interpreting as the base. There's something, it's almost like a floral blended with something else, like a sweet floral blended with some kind of fruit. And those were not in the scent notes, so who knows. A nice soap, as you can see. The lather looks great. I don't even need to be scrubbing like that. Switch to painting pretty quick. And sure enough, it looks like I have maybe 2 more passes than I need. Plenty of soap. So 1/4 teaspoon is a good amount. I probably hooked out a little bit more than 1/4, and that's probably why I have 2 passes left over instead of 1 like I did last time. Just a gentle touch. And haven't covered this in a while. And I'm holding it kind of in a central location. I'm holding it gently. The reason I'm holding it in a central way there is so that if I come at a hill, like one of those tendons or something like that, then the razor has the opportunity to move and to glide over the hill instead of plowing through it, maybe causing irritation. Because I'm not trying to have leverage. I'm not holding it with a wide grip like this. This is going to follow your hand, whereas a smaller grip like this, it follows the contours of your face easier. And then if I'm on this side, I've probably got a grip like this, even though I've got big hands. So I might enjoy a longer handle, but no, because I want that flexible grip. I want that grip that just lets the razor move over my face along the hills and valleys. I don't actually need an extended handle. And consequently, with other angles, so right here, it's kind of a grip that's holding it like that. Over here on this side, if I'm doing some kind of a pull, it's very similar. It's a grip like that. Just whatever grip you need to do to just keep it light. Still in control. It's not gonna, holding it strong enough to where you're not gonna drop it or let it cut you. This is surprisingly comfortable. And this is the 3rd pass, and it's on my neck. Now let's see, let me think about my angle here. I can come up that far, then I need to switch to a downward right there. Very nice. I would say it's a very good soap. It's not super luxurious because I didn't really mix it that way. But it's a very nice soap, and I think I've had another scent of theirs that I enjoyed. The Private Reserve 2, I think it was called, was one that I know that I tried before, and it was a very rose forward scent. So even though I enjoyed the performance of the base, the scent was just a little too feminine for me. All right, I'm gonna rinse off. So if you're a regular viewer to my channel, you know that most of my face is pretty conventional, just straight down growth right here, the grain of the hair, the direction of the hair growth. And then on my neck, it kind of comes across this way. So over here, it's pretty standard, kind of one directional there. But then once it gets this quadrant over here is my tricky area. And so the hair kind of goes down this way toward the corner of my neck. Over here, it kind of comes down to this way, which is opposite. And so if I'm shaving this way, it's nice for a second, and then it switches to against the grain. It starts to bother me, so I have to be careful with how far I travel. Then on the bottom part, I usually go up like that, and that treats it very nicely. So there's just some weirdness, and a lot of guys do have some oddities in their grain structure at some point. I guess most guys do have at least one trouble spot like that. And this area, excellent, nice close shave. So I'm very happy. I don't actually feel any irritation or anything like that. So this blade and this razor, very, very good combination on the 7 setting. It's awesome. I got to try something different. I usually don't go up that high, but that worked really well. I'm happy with that. So the base, yeah, you know, I mean, that smell may be part of the black currant type scent or something, but to me it's just a little strange. So we'll pass this on to somebody else. Great. A great little small tub to let somebody try out shaving for a while. Maybe a good travel container, something like that. Because you could, you don't necessarily have to spoon out a exactly 1/4 teaspoon. You could use your thumbnail and just kind of hook up that roughly that much. That would be kind of lumpy on your thumbnail, like the size of an almond. Is kind of a good general idea. And then you wouldn't have to carry it. You don't have to be too anal about it to get the teaspoon right. 1/4 teaspoon. And this would be a good travel size. And it's a nice solid container, you know, and so it would hold up well in your bag. Although, you know what? If you're traveling in the heat, medium soft, or a little bit harder than that. I thought it was softer than it was. So it resisted my pressing on it just a little bit. So I don't think it would melt unless you were just on crazy hot temperatures. All right, so very cool, great shave. I showed you how much lather we had left. This, as I recall, the 1250, for instance, the 1250 is much more relaxed than this guy. And I don't think this one has any O-rings on it to help the boar bristles to focus and give it a little bit more backbone. Sometimes if you've got a floppy one, you can do that to it to help it and save it for you. But nope, this one doesn't have any. So I'm really happy with these bristles right now. The 1250 and maybe the 1800 being a little softer. And so maybe they take a back seat to this one because this is really soft, but still just feels better on my face. Not quite like there's nothing. You know, it's got a little bit of a feel, massagey nature to it, but still very soft and luxurious. I've definitely had badger brushes and even some expensive badger brushes that I like this little $18 brush better than. How about that? All right, here's what this guy looks after being stropped by the towel. You can see how some of these fringe pieces are definitely hanging out on the side. More and more of those will be joined by some in the core here. And you can kind of see how quickly it flips back. The tips do bend and stay bent a little bit, but then it springs back with a nice little medium backbone. Maybe slightly lighter than medium, but I think that's why I really enjoy it. You have to have a little bit of backbone to keep it from being floppy, to keep it just from being a limp rag that you rub all over your face, because you want to keep those nice soft tips in contact with your face. So I really enjoyed this type of brush. It reminds me of my silver tip badgers, like my Whip Dog and my Golden Nib Premium silver tip knot, in that it just has just a little bit of backbone and mostly softness. Cloud-like kind of stuff. That's what the badgers will give you. This one just a little bit more massagey than cloud, but this has also got a little ways to go. I've got some tips that are going to split. More of them will, and it's going to be even nicer than it is right now. Talked about the razor, how it went well. The soap base is nice. Maybe I don't like this scent, but it was surprising with a name like Wild West. See, I'm big into smoke and leather. I'm not a smoker, but I like the burning type scents, leather, bourbon, woody, sandalwood, those type of scents. And so I expected to find more of those in the Wild West collection because after all, it's kind of Western related. But no, there was just a couple. After I looked and read through a lot of their descriptions, there were just a few that I wanted to try out. So I was a little surprised at that. I think I've got Pony Express to try out if I haven't already. I think I've got that one. That might be my last one that I have. But we'll see. Sometimes I can keep an eye on the secondary market and pick up another one. But we're good. I like that shave. I'm going to clean up. Also a detail, today's shave was on about 20 hours worth of growth. Not my usual 24. It was with my usual cool water, whatever comes out of the cold tap. And this is the summer, so it's just slightly cool. Haven't used any post-shave product. Face feel after the shave is pretty good. Happy with it. No dryness or itchiness or anything like that. So I could definitely walk away from this one. I do have oily skin, so I'll say that as a caveat. But I wouldn't have to use any post-shave on this one if I didn't just want to. I'm going to fish around down there and see what I have. I'm going to use one that's not very strong. A little on the mild side. It doesn't really last too long, but it's nice. What is there, I do enjoy. I don't like the normal, the regular Clubman, the original scent. A lot of people do, but it's not for me. But this Whiskey Woods I like. Based on the description, this is kind of a little bit closer to what I thought the Van Helsing would smell like. More woody, that kind of thing, smoother. Oh well. Whiskey Woods is a nice Amazon purchase. Amazon doesn't have a lot of good stuff for shaving. They've got a few soaps that are good. They've got a lot of bad ones. Probably got a decent selection of aftershaves. The Whiskey Woods is one that I like. It was funny because the bottle on Amazon looked a lot bigger than the one once you get it, and I like it because it's a pretty good value. You get a lot for your money, and so I don't mind splashing a little extra on and that kind of thing. All right, well, amazed I am at the Slim. Just don't use it often enough. So many other good razors to enjoy, and like I said, I like my Fat Boy just a little bit better in terms of the way I hold it, how it looks, that sort of thing. I might have to do a head-to-head comparison sometime, see if I can tell the difference. I kind of thought I had, but who knows, maybe my technique has improved or something, where it's starting to note the differences in the two. All right, so a little disappointed in the scent. Well, I enjoyed reading the notes about it. It looked like something I would enjoy. But it didn't work out that way, and sometimes it doesn't. I think we've covered it all. Good base. Not too much stinging with the alcohol-based splash afterwards there. So that means my technique was pretty good. Nice and even keeled, smooth. So we're good. Nice close result. That's what we're looking for. Comfort and closeness. That's what I'm looking for. Well, hey, I hope there was something here that helped you out. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.